tell me for you, what would help you the most today? This is for you. So is there anything that I could talk about or any questions that you have that I could help you with in regards to the command of your business on command? Anything specific?
Yes.
All right,
There's actually one thing specific. I'm trying to do like mailers, trying to get my name out there, trying to get target certain areas, which I'm looking into which areas to target as well. But
yeah.
Just basically trying to get things out there among people.
Okay.
And what I'm working on right now is the mailer.
All right. Have you played around with it at all yet?
Yes, I think what I'm coming up against is being able to, I guess making it look, this sounds crazy, making it look more flashy, making it look a little bit better on the mailer.
All right. What types of mailers are you looking to send out? Is this to your database or to like a certain area?
I got one for the database too, but for just a certain area in a certain neighborhoods, like a postcard.
Okay. So what type of, so before, let's back up a little bit. When you're sending to this area, I will tell you that the best results are you want to make sure and send it to an area that you want to be consistent with it, right?
Yeah.
You need to identify an area that you want to continue to send stuff to really on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
So what area are you looking at specifically, Jason?
I'm looking at Northwood Lake, probably the towns as well, because they seem to have a pretty good turnover every couple of years. And for the last year, they've had like, I think 50 or so buyers and sellers, or 50 or so houses sold or more.
Okay.
Also looking into like apartment complexes, not apartment, but condo complexes.
Okay.
Which is tricky.
Yeah, here's the thing about the condo complexes, and this is an issue that's come up. A lot of those condos are owned by out-of-state clients.
Yeah.
So that mail out's going to look a little bit different than the ones in the neighborhoods.
Okay.
Because if you send a mail out to those condos, it's probably going to just go to the tenants, and that may not help you out very much. It could, but a lot of those people are going to be college students that are not really going to be ever buying here anyway. So you really want it to go to the landlords. So with a mail out, what I would do for you is I would pick one subdivision and really dominate that subdivision. That would be my advice to you, because you start thinking about Towns and Northwood Lake. Those two subdivisions are huge, right? And you're talking about a pretty good amount of money to do both, right? So if I were you, I would choose one of those and focus on one of those, and then make sure that you do it every month. Now, as far as like what you should be sending those two neighborhoods, or what you should send the neighborhood, what did you already have in mind that you were going to send them?
I was looking into that too.
Okay.
Like I said, I think on the command there was a thing about a mailer, a postcard basically going out saying the house is just sold, or if you're looking to buy or sell, or you're looking to sell your home, put it on the market for that area.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at.
That's what I would do, but where the home that you sold, where was the home that you sold, Jason?
That was in the Towns.
Oh, okay. So that would give you some natural Towns marketing then.
That was a buyer in the Towns. Her house is in Heritage Hills Drive.
Okay. The house that she sold?
No, the house she's about to sell. We're about to, like I said, I'm working with her on that, but she's just wanting to get, I think, a lot of her stuff out before her sons have to move off to college.
Are you going to be listing that house in Heritage Hills?
Yeah, when I talked to her last on the phone last week, I'm trying to keep up with her. She basically said, she told me, she said, I'm going to be listing with you. So.
Cool. Man, that's awesome, Jason.
Man, I'm happy about it as well.
That's really cool. All right. So I'm playing with a couple things here.
Yeah.
We've got to get, this is actually going to go into.
What would you consider? Because I know the Towns has a pretty good turn. Like I said, both of them have a pretty good turnover, but the prices seem to be a little more manageable in Northwood Lake. In other words, a lot more people could be able to buy those a little bit more readily.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah. and I think what you want to do is, you want to look for two things. You want to look for areas that maybe you're not as saturated with agents and a high turnover. Now, the Towns has a high turnover, but it's also very saturated with agents. All right. So it's already, I mean, you've got, I feel like half our company lives in the Towns, you know? So I'm not telling you not to do the Towns. I mean, if you want to do it, that's great. I just think you have to look at, is there an area maybe where an agent is not as present? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And because you may have a better opportunity to gain some market share of some of those people in another subdivision, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. And it could just be a market, you know, a market analysis that you send once a month to the subdivision. If you're not currently working with a buyer or seller in there, like it could be, hey, I've got a buyer that's looking in your area. If you know of anybody looking to sell in your neighborhood, let me know. So that's one piece of advice.
Okay.
Let's look at first. It's probably going to be. I'm just looking in designs real quick. Let's see. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm looking at something while I'm talking to you.
That's fine.
I'm going to share the screen. I'm playing around in designs real quick. How are you today, Kimberly?
Hi, I'm fine. How are y'all doing today?
Oh, we're good. All right. So basically, have you played around in designs at all, Jason?
Hold on.
For like postcards or anything? Have you played around?
No, I haven't. That's what I've been looking at. Well, I think I went to the, which one are you under?
I'm under print. Let me go back and show you where I went.
Yeah.
Go down to designs down here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So you go down to designs, and then you go over here to print. And really, you go down to this plus sign, and you go, you select print and go next. And it's going to show you all these different templates for print. Have you been in here yet, Jason?
I haven't been in, well.
Okay, good. So look, you see how it has jumbo postcards, flyers, letters, large postcards, standard postcards. So you've got these different options. I will tell you, we've been using the jumbo postcards, and this is a jumbo postcard right here. See how big it is?
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing about the jumbo postcard is it's really nice, but it's also very big, and it can get bent up really easy in the mail. So you may just need to, you know, decide which one of these that you want to use. But you go in and you've got listings, right? So you've got listing presentation for sale, just listed. You've got all these just listed flyers that you could go in and use, right? Now, what's interesting is, let's see here. So you've got a neighborhood snapshot. Now this is something you could look at, Jason, that you just have to play around with, but you see this neighborhood snap down here?
Yes.
This is a standard postcard. And what you could do is you could go and create a neighborhood snapshot, and like for Northwood Lake, for example. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it could be, you know, what's going on in Northwood Lake. Total active 9, total pending 12, you know, average list price, and then this would be the back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that could be an option that you could just literally send that out once a month, and it's just have your name on it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's an option. You just have to play. You have to get in and play with that. You know, you could have. So there's neighborhood snapshot, Keller Mortgage, buyer presentation. Let's see here. But you're not getting. That's more. So you got home value, right? Event invitations.
She don't like it. She's been doing it a long time now.
Somebody just logged in here. Let's see here.
Good, huh?
All right. So what I would do is Jason, I think this neighborhood snapshot would be a really cool thing that you could just systematically update and do once a month. And you could edit this and play around with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you said, just start out with one thing in one neighborhood, and then next month do something a little bit different in the same neighborhood. Give them something different to look at.
Yeah. What I will tell you is the frequency of now I will say what the content is important. I don't want to minimize the content, but when you're looking at marketing, a lot of times the frequency of the message is just important, if not more important than the message itself. So your goal is you want to get your face in front of those people as many times as possible. So what I would recommend with you, Jason, is get a template, and you could use like this market thing, and to where literally once a month, and once you save this template, like I'm just gonna, let me see here. I'm gonna see if I can save this.
I mean, all that's exactly what I was looking for mainly.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. And then what you would need to do, because you can do all of this, Jason, through campaigns. So once you downloaded this, you would go back and you have to save this into command. I think I went and saved it over there to the left. And you could immediately share this, and you could post this on social media immediately if you were doing a social media advertisement. I went done. I'm going to see if I can now go to designs. So then what I'm going to do, sorry, I just changed the screen. Once I've gone to designs and created that, now I'm going to see if I can go to campaigns. And I'm going to go to create a new campaign. And what I want to do is I want to go to direct mail. See what I'm doing?
Yes.
Now I'm just going to call this Jason Kelly campaign. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to advertise. I'm going to do a brand awareness, because you're really doing brand. And we're going to upload a custom template, I believe. Now, basically what you're going to have to do here, it gets a little tedious. You're going to have to, that postcard that I created, you're going to have to drag and drop that into this thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yes. Like you said, did you save it somewhere like on your computer?
Well, I saved it in command, but I think what you got to do right now for this is you actually have to download that to your computer.
Okay.
And then you drag and drop it in here. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to close that for right now. Whoops. Hold on. Oh no, I think I just got out of it. Hold on a second. I guess I just canceled that. All right. So yeah, you would do that. Let's see here.
At the bottom it says download postcard template.
Yeah, so I just did that. I don't know. I'm just going to see what this says from designs here.
Okay.
I'm going to play around with this for a second. And this is you just, Jason, you just going in and playing with this thing is really what you got to start doing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I said, I was so focused on the other things, and now I'm trying to focus on something different.
Yeah. So basically, but you'd want to download this. You have to play around with this, and I wish it would just let me. But it's going to take you through this wizard just like you're doing a Facebook campaign. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then once you drag and drop, like for example, I may just try to see if I can figure this out from here. It'll let me do this. Let's see here. Yeah, it won't let me pull those in. I was trying to find some files so I could play around with this right now. But basically, you would just have to do that, and then you would go through this wizard, and literally you can go through and you can search the subdivision area, target whoever you want to. You could also just target your database, Jason.
Yeah.
So you could
That's what I was
actually,
thinking I was going to do with the emails, like an email campaign, kind of like that, to make it look a little bit better.
yeah, I'm going to see real quick if I can find, because I've done this on a deal on a mailer, and I'm trying to find if I can find these files.
Basically, the mistake I was making was the design part, like going to designs first and then making the design and then going back into the campaigns and kind of implementing it there.
Yeah, that's what you got to do first. Go to the designs, then go to campaigns. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Like I said, I've seen a lot of these buttons before, but when they're teaching them, it's kind of, because I was being new, you know, I didn't kind of have a grasp, but I have a better grasp on things now.
Yeah, yeah. And hold on one second. You just bear with me. There's a file here that we've used, and I'm trying to find, let's see here. No, that's not it. Let me see if this will work. Let's see here. That will not work. Hold on one second.
You're fine.
If I can find this, it's going to help me walk you through this. Hold on. All right. Let's see. So I'm trying. Elizabeth did create some postcards for me, and I'm trying to find out the ones that actually work. Let's see here. Oh well. Jason, sorry about that. Well, I just don't have you got to have, the only challenge about this, Jason, is that the files you create have to meet these certain like size criteria that you drag and drop, or else it won't let you do it.
Okay.
And I was trying to just figure out how to cancel this, and it won't let me do it. Let me go back into this one. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let me see if it'll let me. I was trying to get into the wizard so I can show you how to do all the targeting and stuff. And it's not, basically it's this whole, finding the right template is giving me a little bit of grief. Let's see here. Looks like there's a big party in Blaine Junkins' office right now. All right, let's see here. Hold on. Let me try this. All right, just to get to the point to where, let me duplicate campaign. All right, maybe this, okay, here we go. All right, Jason, you see what I've got here now?
Yes.
See, this is why, like, this is a campaign that I ran as a test. We did a mail out to like a bunch of real estate agents, and this was a test that I did. So now you see I've got it shows me the front of postcard and the back of postcard, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I've got all that over there. That's what it would look like once you drop it in there. Now, what I can do, Jason, is I can say, all right, I want to do a 4x6 inch, 6x9, I'm doing the jumbo postcard. All right. So I've got that. Now, name and goal, I've got this over here. Market center. It's got all of our stuff on here that we need. It's got my logo automatically on there. Now, targeting. Okay, this is kind of where the rubber meets the road. Can you see my screen, Jason? So you can see that I can target my database. Now, if I want to target my database, watch this. I can go to add more contacts. Ooh, okay, it's going to let me leave that. I'm not going to leave that right now. Oh yeah, look at that. So now what I can do is I could say, you know what? Tags, I'm going to type in Keller Williams. Oh. Okay, you see all these tags? These are my tags.
Yes.
So right now I could say I want to add all the KW Tuscaloosa agents. I don't know why that's so weird that it just did that to me. Logging back in. Hold on. Okay. So you see, I can add anybody in here to or I could add like an entire tag. That's what I was just trying to do. So KW Tuscaloosa agents. Let me see if it'll let me do this again. Ugh, that looks okay. That is really weird, huh? Okay.
Yeah, why is it doing that? That's weird.
I don't know. But anyway, so you can choose, I'm not sure, you can choose as many contacts as you want to. Like I could choose as many contacts as I wanted to add to this, all right? Now, the thing is they've got to have the address, right? So there's like a guy I can add, there's somebody I can add, there's somebody I can add, however many people I want to, I can add a campaign. Now it's just added all these people, so this mailer is going to go to these people. Does that make sense? So I can go through my database and pick anybody I want to add to this mailer, and so I can mail directly to people in my database. So that's one thing that I can do. Now you see when I look down here at the bottom under budget, it automatically tells me how much it's going to cost. You see that?
Okay, yeah.
That makes sense? Now I can also go to local targeting. Now local targeting is, and I'm playing with it. I haven't played with this in a while, but we're gonna play with this. Let's see. I'm going to just type in my address and see what happens. I typed in my address, and that obviously did not right. All right, let's see here. I'm going to configure targeting. Oh, hold on. All right, here we go. This is the fun part. Can you see my screen?
I can.
All right, so I typed in an address in my neighborhood, Jason. Do you see that?
I do.
Now, what it did, it just pulled up my neighborhood, and that's my house. So what I can do is number of homes at target. I'm going to increase this to 466. Now, it just expanded that. Does that make sense? Do you see that?
Yeah, in other words, I guess it's going in like a circular, however many people are in
radius, all right, around my home. Now, I'm going to play around with this a little bit more, and I have not played with this tool in a while. Watch this. If I want to, Jason, I can get more specific, and I can literally, I thought, hold on a second. I thought I could draw on here. But now what I can do is I've got this area. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so I click there, and now look at this. I could say, you know what? I just want to get everything in this area. So I'm gonna just do this polygon right here. See what's happening here?
Oh, yeah.
So that's everything. Now it's showing me everything that I just drew. All right. It's an awesome tool. Now what I can do, Jason, is I can say, well, you know what? I only want to send it to people who have bought year last sold. I only want to send it to people who have bought from 2000 up until like 2016 or 17. Now, why do you think I may want to do that?
They might be looking to move within a certain time period.
Yeah, if somebody just bought the house yesterday, what's the likelihood of them selling?
About 0.
Right? So what I can do, now I'm not telling you the right or wrong here. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you the tool allows you to say, well, you know what? I only want to target people who have lived here for more than 3 years, whatever. I can do square footage, bedroom, bath, single family, last sold, anything that I want to do. Now, it said, okay, I'm doing 467 homes right now. Now, what I could do is I could increase this number to 799 because this area is a big area, right? So right now, I can limit it and say, well, that's a big area, but I only want to target 460 homes in that area. So it's going to keep it in a shorter radius, right?
Yeah.
The further that I go out, 811, right? Now it pretty much fills up that entire area. That's 811 homes. Does that make sense? So then I would go down and you see what it does down here? It says that's how much that mail out would cost. So to mail out to all of those 811 homes, it would cost me $721. Does that make sense? So I can say, yeah, that's a little much. Let's shrink that radius a little bit. Let's get this back down. And now it's 411, right? So basically, when you're doing a targeted to an area, you're going to choose an address in that area. Does that make sense? So if it's a Northwood Lake, you're going to pick a Northwood Lake address. It's immediately going to put that at the epicenter, and then you can create a radius around how far out around that radius you want to do a mail out. Does that make sense, Jason?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could literally draw a line around Northwood Lake and just make that the area, and then you could start messing with the criteria. So literally, as soon as you do this, I would go to next, and I'm not going to do this right now, right? As soon as I go to make a payment, it's going to put that in the mail, and that's going to go out to all of those people, right? Done. I never had to print anything. It takes away all of that, right? So the most tedious part that you're going to have to deal with, I'm telling you, is that flyer, right? You're going to have to edit that flyer to make it to where it is the size that it needs to where emailers it will accept it, right? As soon as you do that, you're golden. And then what you can do is you can kind of have that same template, Jason. You've already got this campaign, I already had this campaign set up. So you could literally have a campaign set for the exact area where you want it, right? And then all you have to do is every month you just go in and you duplicate it and edit it, and you just change out and maybe update the flyer, right? You just put the new updated marketing information, and then you just resend it, and it's already set to all of the people who you want to send it to. Does that make sense? Yeah,
it makes it automated.
Yeah. So, and then you get into smart plans, right? Then you could probably create a smart plan that reminds you to do it or eventually there'll probably be smart plans that just do it for you, right?
Right.
So if I were you, what I would do is number one, I think there's two things that need to happen, right? One is you could pick a small group of your sphere of influence to market to where you could do a mailer to them, right? You could also then pick a subdivision, and I would do it where once a month that subdivision is getting something from you every single month. And I think the market update and designs is probably the best one to use, that you can just change things out and change the numbers out. Does that make sense?
That does.
All right, so does this help? Does this give you some guidance and answer your question?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, one of the main things I was missing was the design part and having, because I was like, well, how do you get that good, that good template, the good layout, and y'all got a bunch of things to choose from. So it's really good.
And I'm going to tell you, it may be a little, it's going to make it a little tedious. I remember working, because what I did is I had somebody create some flyers for me. And we had to go back and forth several times for those to be the right data size in order for we mailers to select. So that may be a little bit tedious, but once you get that figured out, it's going to be pretty easy to get everything done. Does that make sense?
I would agree with that, yeah.
Awesome. What does, and then, yeah, and I think you can utilize your database, right? I mean, the same thing would apply. I mean, imagine, Jason, if you got a database of 200 people and every month they're getting a postcard from you, in addition to now you're doing a quarterly phone call plan, you're also doing the monthly neighborhood nurture. Imagine now, like, who are those people thinking of when they think real estate?
That's right. That'd be me.
So that's the name of the game, man, is having that consistent touch around your sphere, and then also identifying that other area and becoming the master of that area, doing it consistently. Too many agents will just send one mail out to an area and they never send one again, and they just, in my opinion, they just wasted money. Because people are not going to call you just because they saw a postcard from you in the mail one time. Does that make sense?
I agree.
You have to really do it consistently over time for that to even make a difference. So.
Well, let me ask you a question, because when we go over the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that book, and what kind of touches could you be looking for on that? Like you said, 1 out of maybe 200, 1 out of maybe 500. Do you know?
You talking about the ratios as far as like of the amount of people, what percentage or how many people will end up actually buying something? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like you said, I know it's probably a multiplier of, like you said, keeping a constant contact.
The original research now this was done years ago, said that for 1 out of every 50, you would receive you'd have a closed deal for 1 out of every 50 people that you send to, right?
Yeah,
so for example, let's just say Northwood Lake has 400 homes, or let's just easy math. Let's say Northwood Lake has 300 homes. And so you're sending out 300 once a month, right? That's what we call a 12 direct. So if you're doing that once a month, the research would say that 1 out of every 50 of those you get a piece of business for 1 out of every 50. So 300, that's 6, right? 6 times 50 is 300. So conceivably, so 300 would give you 6, right? Now, what they're saying now is because of how digital everything is and because of how much information is out right now.
100 maybe?
It's maybe like, you weren't around, but they taught a class. We had a 36 touch class that the Peters Group taught back in January. And they said now it could be more like 1 out of every 100, right? So for every 300 people, you may only get 3 deals. But that's why, Jason, if you want to do it, you better make sure it's going to be consistent, and you got a plan that's going to just do it every single month, or else it's not going to be worth your time to do it at all. Does that make sense?
I agree. Like you said, that's what I'm kind of looking for. I don't have to have 100 within the next 12 months. I'm just trying to focus on 1 at a time and trying to get my bearings and what works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just going off what everything Keller Williams has already done. And I love how you guys broke it down to the math wise.
Oh yeah.
Just how things, interact between agents and consumers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, for your 36 touch to your database, now that's a different story. That's when you're looking at, a better ratio of like 1 out of every 6, right? So it's almost like 16% in your database. You'll get a 16% rate of return if you touch your database 36 times a year. So that you see now it's a much higher level of volume of touching, right? But it's also people who already know and trust you. So.
I agree.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I'm trying to do as much as I can, but I'm not trying to burn down the woods either.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do things as things come in, to kind of build up the business, but to actually not go broke trying to advertise to everybody.
Yeah, and just I'm going to share my screen, but just to kind of, never mind, I don't have my elbow set up. But basically, just think about it this way: for your database, your group in your database, you want to have, they need to be getting a phone call once a quarter, right?
Yeah.
They need to be getting an email from you once every month, and the monthly neighborhood nurture is a great way to do that. I would call them and send them a text on their birthday, if they bought a house from you before, a home anniversary date. We even talk about having some events or something. You know, if you don't want to do an event, you can do a giveaway of, hey, you know, if you submit your, I'm giving away a $500 Yeti cooler to this small group of 300 people. You know, if you're interested, blah, 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 send me a referral. If you send me a referral, then I'm going to put you in the giveaway. I mean, so you could have a giveaway once a year, right? But there's different things that you do to engage your database. And I think the other thing would be you could send them a postcard once a month.
Yeah.
To where they're getting 12 in the mailbox, 12 in their email inbox. That's 24 touches plus 4 quarterly phone calls. That's 28. If you add a birthday and a couple events, you're over 30 right there. So
Yeah.
see, that's your database. And then obviously you got your 12 direct to where you pick a certain area and you send a mailer to that area once every month, right? And that's the combo that you're looking at. So if I'm you, Jason, I think you decide one little piece of that that you want to implement, and you focus on that. And it may be that, hey, you're just focused on getting all of your database on a monthly neighborhood nurture. Like that's the only thing you're focused on, right? And then once you get that done, then it's like, okay, now I'm going to add the quarterly phone call plan, and I'm going to make sure that I implement that and get everybody set up on that, right? Or maybe, all right, for this month, I'm just going to focus on getting this Northwood Lake mailer out to this subdivision, right? So, but I think you need to focus on one piece of that and implement that and then move to the next thing. Does that make sense?
I agree.
So
That's what I'm trying to do. Focus on one thing, learn it, then move to the
Yeah.
next thing, and then just trying to acquire more and more.
yeah. So Jason, what's one action item from these questions that you asked? What's an action item that you take away from today?
But to be honest with you, like you said, being proactive, but also getting in there with the designs and trying to implement everything I can there.
Okay, so going to designs and working on a postcard template for a mail out, is that right?
Yeah, in the designs, they can do that for emails, right?
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah.
like the same kind of thing for the email.
Yeah, when you play around in there, it'll ask you, do you want to do an email? Do you want to do a social? Do you want to do a print? Like however you want to do it, you can choose.
Yeah, because one of my things for the database is sending out an email too, like you said earlier. And I've been trying to find a way to actually get something very, clean and good looking and a bunch of color. You can't just have the plain old email going out to them.
No, yeah, and I would say, there's multiple ways to do that. One, that neighborhood nurture is a great tool, and that looks really good. Like the thing I like about the neighborhood nurture is you don't have to do any prep for that. It just automatically sets that email up. You don't have to design anything,
Yes.
And you know how to do that, right, Jason?
Yes.
Okay, could be a good touch, right?
That's right.
But yeah, you can play around with the designs aspect and do that. So, do y'all have any other questions on this?
All good stuff. Everything I took notes. Jason asked some of the questions that I had. So
Yeah, well, that was good, and this is something we have not focused on this in a while. The physical mailer piece with WeMailers through campaigns. I haven't focused on this all year, really. So I'm glad that's something we haven't really talked a lot about. But I think that's a really good tool that you can use. That keeps it to where you're not having to print out a bunch of things and physically mail stuff. Literally, you can design it and they put it in the mail for you and send it and do all that. And you don't even have to worry about it. So I think that's WeMailers through designs through campaigns is a great tool to use to add a physical mail out piece to your marketing. So I'm glad that we talked about that today. So
Thank you very much.
yeah.